The next area that we're going to be talking about doesn't really not going to be as concrete as we thought it was, but UCLA football had its schedule announced over a week ago. Obviously, at this point, they won't be playing on those dates, but it remains to be seen if they'll be playing those teams in that order come spring or winter, whenever it ends up being. But you look at the 10-game conference-only schedule, Washington got added to it. Looked like USC was going to be the season opener. But, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they carry this over to the spring to see if they keep with the schedule. But regardless, I feel like everyone's kind of on the same page. When college football comes back, it will be conference only just because everything's all disoriented. So this could be a good representation of what UCLA's schedule might be. I don't know, Jack, what are your expectations looking at the 10 opponents on the schedule for UCLA?
Well, first of all, if only there was a governing body that was able to just work between the conferences and get them all set up with stuff. But that's another topic, because apparently the NCAA doesn't want to take that responsibility again. But if you're just looking period at the schedule, it's nice for UCLA that we're not facing non-conference. Have them being a non-conference opponent in any game under Chip Kelly. We've had a couple tough ones. Cincy twice. We had Oklahoma. But, Hawaii, New Mexico State, San Diego State we lost to. Those were kind of easy ones, or games that we should at least be expected to win. Going up to Washington is going to be a tough one. If the schedule stays the same, which I'm putting out there's no way. If they go back to spring and they actually think things will be fixed, USC will be either the last game or the second to last game again. But if you're looking at the schedule currently, a USC week 1 game could be demoralizing to Chip Kelly's team. And I think by week 6, if they're 1-5 or 2-4, he could be on the outs pretty easily.
Yeah, we can get to that later, but when it comes to the USC game, obviously, you talk to players, you talk to just students and fans. There are people who would rather be 2-10 in a regular season, but have one of those wins be against USC versus being like 7-5 and losing to USC. It matters that much to people, which is in some ways bizarre, but in others I get it. It's a big rivalry. Like you said, if things are back to normal or they're able to play a college football season in any capacity by the spring, they'll probably move that USC game to late. I think you're spot on there. But I would actually be interested to see what UCLA can do later in the season as opposed to earlier versus USC, because, they always end the season at USC, but this year, for a lot of reasons, could be different. UCLA, if they build up momentum through the course of the regular season, whether that's in the beginning or middle, leading up to that USC game, and Clay Helton maybe is on the outs at USC, then UCLA has a chance. But if UCLA and USC are opening the season against each other, I don't think there's any chance UCLA can win, whether that's in September, January, March, or next September.
Yeah, if you're looking at truly just what we have right now, you got 3 games within the first few weeks against teams that beat UCLA by double digits last season. That is a rough road to get. That is almost killer at that time. I don't see us going better than, I don't know, if they stay with the 10-game schedule, I don't see us going better than 3-7. 3-7 would be a good sign for.
I don't know about that. I would say, and this is optimistic, obviously, UCLA could go 6-4 with that schedule. Washington, new coach. Washington State, new coach. Colorado, new coach. USC could have a new coach if it's late in the season and Clay Helton gets fired. And you never know. These are all – UCLA has not been good the last 2 years. Everyone knows that. But at the very least, there's some consistency heading into Chip Kelly's 3rd year, whether that's Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback, even Jerry Atenara, who has sucked as the defensive coordinator. At least you have the same defensive coordinator. At least you have the same staff. There's a lot of consistency from UCLA last year to this year, whenever this year ends up being. And there are a lot of other programs who didn't get fall camp with a new head coach, or who didn't get spring camp in March or February. This year, more than ever, is going to be incredibly difficult on first-year coaches, and there are a lot of them in the Pac-12. Now, is UCLA's lack of talent in the secondary and linebacking core going to hurt them? Yeah. I'm not saying UCLA is definitely going to go 6-4, but they have a chance. They can go 7-3. There are winnable games on that schedule considering how much of a mess the Pac-12 is. I mean, you just look at the MLB. You have the San Diego Padres who are playing great baseball. No one really thought they were going to be amazing heading in. But when you have a shortened season with different protocols, different procedures, different schedules, anything can happen.
Well, Sam's just mad right now because his Red Sox aren't doing too well. My Padres are killing it. I still don't see it. While consistency is great, it helped build your guys up over years, and technically we looked like we were improving, especially during some games last year. That Washington State game really showed how good DTR could be. I don't know. Consistency when we have such a talent gap against the rest of the conference is killer right now. I don't see how we can make up that ground, especially since we also didn't have a spring camp. Really, we don't know about a fall camp. I mean, Chip Kelly does his third year, but he's got to replace a lot of pieces if he wants to have a winning year. There's no way.